Hello my dear friends, you're in the Military with Summary channel, and today we will discuss the situation in Ukraine on the 3rd of February of 2026. Today we have a lots of very interesting updates, so let's start. And first of all, and once again, we're going to talk about the Russian attack that took place between the 2nd and the 3rd of February of 2026. The Russians used hundreds of drones and dozens of missiles to attack objects of energy infrastructure through Ukraine, and as we discussed during the previous video, this map was published by pro-Ukrainian sources, and here we can see the approximate routes of what exactly the Russians were attacking. So the Russians were attacking during the entire night. That was a very long attack. The Russians attacked the city of Kiev, the Vinnytsia region. The Russians attacked the city of Odessa. The Russians attacked the regions of Dnipro and Zaporozhye, and the Russians attacked the cities of Kharkiv and the city of Sumy. So lots of explosions. The Russians dealt significant damage, and the most important thing is that as a result of this attack, the Russians most likely managed to destroy up to 3 power stations. So once again, during the morning, we received first updates on this matter, but we had reports just on the matter of how many missiles the Russians used to attack this or that object of energy infrastructure. But this evening, we received more details about this attack, so let's discuss everything in details. And first, let's start with the city of Kiev, because the Russians, as a result of this massive attack, destroyed another power station. So this is the city of Kiev, and once again, to understand everything, we need to see and we need to understand the power stations that the city of Kiev has. First of all, this is the northeastern power station, the power station number 6. This power station was destroyed between the 20th and the 23rd of January. Also, we have the power station in the eastern part of the city. This is power station number 4, and the Russians attacked this power station today during the previous night. We have the third power station in the southern part of the city. This is power station number 5, and we have a heating house in the central part of the city of Kiev that Ukrainians use to support homes with heats, with water, and so on. So 3 power station and 1 boiler house. So the Russians attacked during the night just 2 power stations, the power station number 4 and the power station number 5. So during the morning, we received numbers. So according to information we have, during this massive attack, the Russians launched just 2 Iskander missiles to attack the Kiev 4 power plant. But later, more precisely, somewhere at noon time, pro-Ukrainian sources published this video, and here we can see Mark Rutte air defense system that didn't help Ukrainians during the previous night. He arrived in this area, and the Minister of Energy showed the destruction of one of the thermal power plants in Kiev. He arrived at the facility along with NATO Secretary General Rutte. Later, this power station was geolocated, and according to information we have, this is the Kiev's 4th power plant, and as you can see according to this video, this power plant was completely destroyed as a result of Russian attack. So based on this video, based on this report, we are not going to adjust anything. We just will note that the power station was completely destroyed without any chances to repair it. It's probably much more easier to build a new one. So these power stations, so now understand, was destroyed during the night between the 2nd and the 3rd of February. But if we increase the numbers of updates since the beginning of January, we need to discuss the situation around the power station number 6. As I told you minutes ago, this power station was destroyed as well. So, for example, this satellite picture was published on January 25th, and according to the satellite picture, no hot production, thermal power plant went into lockdown. So this article was published on the 25th. And furthermore, for example, this is the differences between different satellite pictures between the dates. This is the picture between the 24th and the 20th of January. So as you can see, as a result of attack between these dates, we can see that the Russians attacked this building, this construction. So this construction was damaged by Russians, and for example, this video shows the difference between 16th of January and the 21st of January. So according to this video, the Russians attacked this southern construction. So, and later we received this video published by pro-Ukrainian sources, and here we can see see, according to the author of this video, the consequences of Russian attack on the power station number 6. As you can see, this power station is also completely destroyed. So, summarizing everything, we can make a conclusion that by the end of the 3rd of February, the Russians have destroyed 2 power stations of the city of Kiev, and this is a very big and a very huge problem for Ukraine and for the Ukrainians and for the citizens of the city of Kiev. As for the most southern power station, this is the power station number 5. During the previous night, we received a report that Russians attacked this power station with at least 4 Iskander missiles, but as of the end of the 3rd of February of 2026, we haven't received anything additional. We haven't received any video from this area where we can see that whether the plant was destroyed or not, and we don't have satellite pictures that can confirm that the power station was completely destroyed. If we increase the numbers of updates since the beginning of January, here we can see the report that was published on the 25th of January of 2026, and according to this report, on the 25th of January, the plant was working, so which means that the power plant still operates, and that probably this is the only power station that currently can supply and support the city of Kiev. As for the, let's say, boiler house, as of the previous night, we don't know for sure whether the Russians were attacking this territory or not, but during the nights, we didn't have any report that the Russians were attacking this territory. So, once again, there were 3 power stations, and now we see that 2 of them were completely destroyed, and there is another important object of energy infrastructure, and we are talking about this Kiev 750 electrical substation. So, according to different sources, according to independent experts, the Russians during the previous night attacked this substation with 12 Ha-32 missiles and 2 Zircons missiles. But as you can see, during the day we haven't received anything, and due to the fact that there is no total blackout on the territory of the city of Kiev, this means that most likely these missiles that the Russians used to attack this object of energy infrastructure were brought down by the Ukrainians, and the Russians haven't managed to deal significant damage to this object of critical infrastructure, which means that Ukrainians still have possibilities to receive power, to receive electricity from the Rovno nuclear power plant. So most likely this object of critical infrastructure is well protected and well defended with Ukraine's air defense forces. So this is the situation in the city of Kiev, and obviously the Russians will repeat their attacks, they'll repeat attack. Obviously, the second wave attack is going to take place within the next days, but it seems that the Russians are not going to attack the city of Kiev. The Russians most likely will attack something else. As for different statements, for example, the Mark Rutte, the NATO Secretary General, stated that at the same time, following a peace agreement, foreign forces, air power, and naval support will appear in Ukraine. So, following a peace agreement. So, not today, not tomorrow, not yesterday, but only when Ukraine accepts demands from the Russian side. At the same time, other alliance members, he said, will participate in supporting the situation in other formats. Moscow consistently opposes the deployment of foreign troops on Ukrainian territory. At the same time, European countries are not prepared to deploy troops without guarantees of the US support, which Washington has not yet officially confirmed. So there are too many questions without answers from Mark Rutte. Another important statement was made by Kiev authorities. In Kiev, thousands of homes are effectively without proper heating. Official government data on home heating connections does not reflect the actual situation. Kiev Teploenergo, this is the government office, with the support of emergency crews, has indeed formally supplied heat to most homes and reported success. Another important thing, Zelensky accused Russia of violating the energy ceasefire. The US president said that we should refrain from strikes for a week, but in fact it started on Friday night, and last night the Russians, in our view, violated their promise. So these are the statements of Zelensky, but these statements don't change anything. The Russians destroyed at least 2 power stations of the city of Kiev. Once again, another important thing, most likely during the next attack the Russians will not attack the city of Kiev. and the Russians are using very interesting tactics. So you know that the Ukrainians have hundreds of crews, energy crews, and their main purpose is to stabilize the situation through Ukraine after attacks from the Russian side. So which means that due to the fact that the Russians mainly attacked the city of Kiev during the previous 24 hours, this means that most of these crews were redeployed in the direction of the city of Kiev, Dnipro, Kharkiv, so in the direction of these territories that were attacked by Russia, which means that now lots of territories of Ukraine have no crews that can supply support or stabilize the situation in the rest of Ukraine, which means if Russia attack, let's say, the city of Khmelnytsky or the city of Lutsk or the city of Lvov, there are very high chances that Ukraine will not be able to stabilize the situation very fast, because most of the crews are currently located in the cities like Kiev, Odessa, Dnipro, Kharkiv, and so on. So this is the tactics. The Russians first attack, and then they attack places that are empty and without these crews that can stabilize the situation. So we've finished with the city of Kiev and the Kiev region. Now let's move further and let's talk about the Dnipro direction and about the Dnipropetrovsk region. So this territory was also attacked by Russia, and let's discuss what we've managed to found out during the day. So as for the information that we can find in the internet, according to different military experts, the city of Dnipro and the Dnipropetrovsk power station was attacked with 18 Iskanders just within 1 hour. So this is the biggest number of missiles that the Russians used to attack a single object of energy infrastructure, and the sources are saying that the Russians were attacking the Pridniprovsk power station with 18 Iskander missiles. So during the night we received several videos. Here we can see the moments when the Russians attacked the station, and here we can see another video where we can see another explosion, but the quality of the video is very poor, so it's blurred, so it's very difficult to understand whether the Russians were attacking this power station or not. And here we can see a satellite picture. So according to this satellite picture, a large fire is burning at the Pridniprovsk power plant in the city of Dnipro after it was hit by numerous Russian Iskander and ballistic missiles. This is evidenced by NASA firm's data and photos from the city. So the Russians, according to this fire anomaly, attacked these territories. So this substation. So as you can see, there are lots of let's say equipment that connects this power station with the city of Dnipro and probably with the mainland, with the rest of Ukraine, and we can see these facilities. So the Russians once again were attacking this territory mainly, and the fire anomaly was recorded right exactly at this place. So it's very difficult to say from this, let's say, configuration or from this polygon whether the Russians managed to destroy completely this power station or the power station was just damaged, significantly damaged, something like this. Another important part of the city of Dnipro that was attacked is the territory in the most northwestern part of the city, but this time, according to information we have, the Russians attacked the railway depot, so most likely the Ukrainians were redeploying troops or forces further in the eastern direction towards the line of combat contact, and here we can see, as you can see, a very huge power anomaly. So according to this, let's say, video, maybe 18 Iskander missiles attack this territory, but not the Pridniprovsk power station. So according to the fire anomaly and according to satellite data, this territory is covered with a very huge fire. As you can see, there was probably the Russians were attacking this territory. As you can see, there is an industrial zone area, lots of warehouses, lots of plants, military facilities probably, and the Russians were mainly attacking this territory. So we've covered everything we managed to find out about the city of Dnipro. Now let's move further. And now let's talk about the Kharkiv direction. During the previous night, the Russians attacked two power stations. The first one is the Zmiyevskaya power station, which is located to the south of the city of Kharkiv in the area of the settlement of Slobozhanskaya, and the Russians attacked the Kharkiv power plant number 5. As for the Kharkiv power plant number 5, we have just a report that Russians used only 3 Iskander missiles, but during the day we haven't received anything that can confirm whether the Russians were attacking this power plant. But as for the Zmiyevskaya Zmiyivska or Slobozhanskaya power plant, we received lots of updates. The Russians, according to information, according to independent experts, attacked this power station with 4 Iskander missiles. So, and later we received additional updates. For example, here we can see a picture of a fire in the area of the power station. Just a picture, nothing more. So we don't know for sure what is this. Maybe this is something like from archive or something like this. But from this angle and from this perspective, we don't understand whether the Russians managed to deal a damage or not. But later we received this video where we can see the comparison between the dates. So these are the changes. So for example, this is the situation after the strike. So first, this is the situation before the strike, and this is the situation after. So as you can see, according to this, let's say, video, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 holes, 4 holes through the Zmiyivska power plant. So which means that there were 4 Iskander strikes. And if we return back to the data we received during the night, approximately 4 Iskander missiles attacked the power station. We see that the information was confirmed from different sources, which means that the Zmiyivska power station was damaged, most likely significantly, and most likely this is another power station that was either completely destroyed or significantly damaged. As for the authorities, Kharkiv authorities, we received lots of reports. The local authorities reported that restoring the Kharkiv thermal power plant is impossible. One of the city's main thermal power plants suffered serious damage, according to regional parliament member. So he was talking about this one, the one that located in the western part of the city. The mayor stated Kharkiv is forced to drain the coolant from 820 buildings' heating systems to avoid the complete liquidation of the network. That was stated by the mayor. So the situation is critical. Russians will repeat its strike, but this night most likely we should expect a strike from Ukrainian side. Most likely during the upcoming night between the 3rd and the 4th of February, Ukraine will counterattack, and most likely we will see strikes from the area of the Black Sea. According to information we have, there are currently RQ-4B Global Hawks are flying there, monitoring the Russian Federation strikes on Ukraine and recording the situation in the area of Novorossiysk and with Russian fleet, which most likely we will see some attacks in this region. And of course, Ukrainians will try to attack deep inside of the territory of the Russian Federation, and maybe they will try to attack even in the direction of the city of Moscow. So with the Russian strike, nothing ended, everything just started. So that is why let's wait and see. The upcoming night is going to be very, very hot, most likely. Another important thing that right before I start making this video, pro-Ukrainian sources reported about missile strike possibility, and that the Russians probably could attack in coming hours the territory of Ukraine with the hypersonic missiles of Kinzhal type. Now let's discuss the situation on the ground, and first let's talk about the Zaporozhye direction, where the Russians continue their offensive operation. During the previous 12 hours, the most important updates were connected to the massive attacks, so that is why, as for the previous 24 hours, we haven't received anything special, just several videos where we can see how Russians were attacking logistics of the armored forces of Ukraine in this area. For example, this is an attack that took place in the area, in the central part of the city. The Russians attacked some vehicle. Furthermore, the Russians improved their positions along railways. As of now, we see that the Russians are tasked to establish complete control over the pocket. Let's say that is located along the railways. So the Russians are trying to cut this area and to improve their logistic to the southern part of Zaliznychne. So there are very heavy clashes, as we can see. Now let's move further. As for the Dobropolye direction, during the previous 24 hours, lots of updates we received from the territory of the settlement of Grishna. First of all, pro-Ukrainian sources adjusted their map, showing that indeed the Russians captured the most southeastern part of the settlement. Further, according to pro-Ukrainian sources, they adjusted the gray zone further in the northern direction, and according to this gray zone, the Russians, or the first sabotage and reconnaissance groups of the armored forces of the Russian Federation were recorded in this area, which means that the Russians currently control something around, the Russians were recorded at probably 50 or even more % of the settlement of Grishina. As for the Dobropolye direction around the city of Belitska, during the previous 24 hours, another video was published from the territory of the settlement of Zatyshek. The Ukrainians were attacking Russians right exactly at this point, and based on this video, we have adjusted the map. So as you can see, we have a very big dynamic in this area. This is the end of the January, this is the beginning of February, this is the 2nd, and this is the 3rd of February. So as you can see, the Russians improved their position significantly, and the Russians continue fighting for the territory to the east of the railways that go between the city of Rodinska and Dorozhnya. So now the Russians are tasked first to establish complete control over this pocket, and then Russians will continue offensive operation further in the direction of the city of Belitska itself. As for the city of Konstantinovka, during the previous 24 hours, the Russians continued bombing and attacking positions of the armed forces of Ukraine in the southwestern part of the city. Lots of explosions were recorded through this Konstantinovka citadel. This is one of the explosions. This is the second one. The Russians are attacking buildings. First of all, multi-storage buildings. Furthermore, we have report that the Russians probably improve their positions in the southern part of Vilenka. Most likely in coming hours we will receive additional updates and the map in this area will be adjusted. So as we can see, there are very heavy clashes for the settlement of Konstantinovka. The Russians are increasing their pressure, and it seems that the Russians are tasked to improve their positions significantly through the territory of the city of Konstantinovka before spring comes. Now let's move further. As for the Slaviansk direction, during the previous 24 hours, additional changes were recorded around the settlement of Nikiforovka. These are the changes on the ground between the dates according to neutral mappers and pro-Russian sources. During the previous days, the Russians improved their position significantly in this village, and the Russians managed to approach the settlement of Alexandrovka from the south. As for the Kupiansk direction, during the previous days, very interesting changes were recorded. First of all, the Russians were bombing and attacking the Kivsharovka pocket and the logistic lines that were moving in this area. In this video, we can see how the Russians attacked positions and temporary deployment points around the settlement of Pristin along R79 road. So this stronghold was attacked by Russians. And here we can see the video how the Russians were attacking the settlement of Kavsharovka, its northwestern part. So, and if we increase the numbers of updates, since the beginning of January, the Russians have used dozens of bombs to attack exactly this pocket. At the same time, pro-Ukrainian sources adjusted their maps in the central part of the city of Kupiansk, and according to these changes, the Ukrainians are about to recapture the city of Kupiansk completely. Based on the report published by pro-Ukrainian sources, we have adjusted the map. And these are the changes on the ground between the dates. This is the end of the 2nd, and this is the big end of the 3rd of February. The Russians are about to lose completely their foothold on the Ukrainian side of the river Voskol. As for the northern directions, during the previous 12 hours, the most important update is coming from the area to the east of Miropolye. Today, several sources confirmed that indeed the Russians managed to capture this pocket. Most likely in coming days or even hours, more pro-Russian sources will confirm this information, and most likely this territory in coming days would be colored as the territory covered with the fog of war. So this is the situation. Tomorrow we are waiting for another round of talks between the Russian Federation and Ukraine. These talks are going to take place on the territory of United Arab Emirates. Zelensky have already stated that due to this massive attack, he ordered his delegation to change their positions. So most likely tomorrow we will see that Ukraine's delegation will reject once again to the Russian demands to finish the conflict and Russia's demands regarding the peaceful settlement of the conflict in Ukraine. And that's it for today. Military Summary channel reminds to condemn any violence in the world. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, put your likes, join my Patreon, and have a good day. Bye bye.